No fun allowed, I can't believe it's not illegal. They want to regress until society medieval. I'm evil, Knievel, come and watch a nigga death-defy. YouTube swallow the nut like we in Vanilla Sky. Your age I gotta verify for safety so you can't deny. Terminate your access if you don't comply, don't even try. Ban the VPN and don't forget the ad blocker. Hide the dislikes, comments locked, what a shocker. Told you pussy niggas fish your balls up out the purse, dear. Take a knee and silently observe what happens thanks to queer. Ban titties, now they coming for that gay shit. You can call me Ronald McDonald because I'm loving it. Show up to your door because of what you posted online. SpongeBob memeing is a crime, do the hard time. Sarah bonds you out of life with a pronoun. Xbox cross Tyson from downtown. UK law will not protect your daughter. Coming at you live in front of the slop water. Eat fake butter cause we know you are famished. Acquiring banks make video games vanish. Hello, beta testers. Oh no, that thing we warned you losers about is happening to you. Who could have seen this coming? I did. How? Like, comment, join, and subscribe, because even though some of you are paying, you guys are still getting unsubscribed, and some of your views don't even count as far as the new YouTube algorithm and its hidden ticked boxes are concerned. If you're like me, you're a little rejuvenated watching the types of entities who've been cheerleading for censorship up until now suddenly be surprised that it's coming back in their direction. No, this isn't what we wanted. If you watched my last video, I listed a bunch of times they were just pom-poms in the air over this. I want censorship in games because I disagree with those people and because they're right-wing fascist.
Iron Man toys are now at BK.
Or something. So, weirdly enough, a lot of those came from the publication known as The Gamer, who has a hilarious and crazy amount of predominantly transgender entities who believe that they have, I don't know, the best take in gaming, even though gaming is older than their movement. And let's just say the perspective that they're giving is not indicative of the typical majority gamer, since they are just normal heterosexual men, as opposed to somebody who was born with a dick and balls that now identifies as a woman. And you're giving your perspective on what you think would make the gaming industry better, but you're also surprised by shit that everybody else can see a mile away because you're illiterate to the writing on the wall. It's killing us. You are you're representing, you are showing us what it means to be inclusive, and it makes us all feel like we want to die. Is that cool to say? Is that okay to say? Is anybody watching anyway? As far as YouTube is concerned, you're gonna count these niggas. All of you in here, you don't matter. That's what YouTube said. Find a bridge, find a roof, find some rope, find some hazel lace. It's just a joke, it's just a lyric. Am I gonna go away? Am I gonna go away? Can I tell a joke today? Am I in the UK? Thought crime, no way. Thanks for all of the gay. It's not hard to tell when things are getting too funny, and not in a ha-ha way, but you let it get so bad that statues are triggering to these obese hags that you allow to make these games. And Sydney Sweeney is like a cultural A-bomb, because one pair of sweet-ass titties was all it took to destabilize the already hilariously unmedicated normie lab rat impregnated with whatever Blackstone pays top dollar to keep these brainwashed monkeys regurgitating. You think I care how cruel something sounds? The truth was enough to make these creatures wet themselves. No business with what they decide is the scapegoat for today. I've started seeing people use my exact terminology, and it'll take months for everyone to catch up, because the organic baby-making natural order being disturbed is one thing, but you might not know the superpower I have is being able to understand a person punished for something they had nothing to do with. And this psychic link, in combination with what I'll call a goon force sensitivity, afforded me a perspective to perceive, to discern, And these days, it's hard not to view myself as a beaver that can hear the tree falling over before everyone else does. This isn't a tree, though. This is like a dam owned by the types of people pulling the strings of you entities, shilling with your asshole full of whatever they tell you to fucking say. And these people that own the dam are not too concerned about how accidental all of the damage is gonna look, because as long as it gets things out of the way for what comes next, then Bob is your uncle. People sometimes struggle understanding why that one specific radical group that's been cheering for censorship until it affected them are so triggered by the truth, and it's entirely because their very existence hinges on a lie that they can't struggle to be miserable with on their own. They need to hoist and then throw that onto you. You need to pretend. You need, in your off time, to act as their therapist. And it needs to be forced, as they understand you are not about to swallow this nonsense, okay? So it's been a decade of forcing, and the truth we all understand, and our frustration is if equality truly existed and we were allowed to dispense a teaspoon, a thimble of the ocean of the miserable, insufferable stupidity that they send everything into a crater with and have for over a fucking decade, that they would dissolve, not unlike the aftermath of a Thanos snap, mentally of course. And it begs the question, wow, there's more of their mind left to lose? Beta tester, you have any idea how fucked it's gonna get? It's already there, but you're seeing the beta test in Australia, in the UK, and all these other places where people just don't have any say. And here, they're banking on people not doing anything. So, it's hard for me to really talk without it coming off like a call to action, but AI listening to me, government listening to me, I don't mean it like that. I'm just reacting the way that you would expect anybody to react, and it's cathartic for me to get it out and just say what I want so I don't have a heart attack, because this is my outlet now, because I used to have games, but then they took that somehow, because a fat bitch came in, and she said that's too hot, and that's somehow my fault, but I say that it is not, and I'd like you to know that I want you to go to the landfill from whence you came from. Ho, suck my balls. Just kidding. I don't want disease. So if you please, get off your knee. If I don't end this, it'll, I'm too bored to sit down and write anything talking about these fucking people. I'm part of this you catch up to me now group of niggas. That's the worst part. And YouTube is out here well, what's really going on is that I'm doing it to protect the kids. Oh, y'all finally caught up to the Roblox situation? You think that came out of nowhere, as far as you're concerned? Or can you go find videos going back years and 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 years of people doing the same fucking thing and saying the same thing? I used to say that shit on YouTube before I really understood what being censored on this platform's all about. Okay? So, a lot of too little too late kind of things are going on right now, and I can't say I'm not elated, because finally the nobodies, the people that I, self-aware of my normiedom, still class as normies because you're so far from heterosexual. Is there going to be a new just escape from all of this? Because that's what the escape entertainment used to be. And it doesn't seem like we're getting back to that. So now there needs to be a new escape, since you're going out of your way to make it so people can't even masturbate without giving you their identification, right? Oh man, rile these people up. Something to take the edge off, an outlet for all of their nonsense. No. Why worry about that? Have you filled all the jobs with AI already? So I guess you don't need anybody to go back and be a cog in your fucking machine. I guess the AI have all the positions sorted, so nothing's gonna go wrong. And if I'm being honest, I might have been upset that all of this woke cancer that has been infiltrating games for a decade has ruined things if it didn't free up eyes for what is going to be coming down the pipes now. Unlike Fortnite, which has the same rating as Marvel Rivals but edits out cleavage, curves, dances for women, and blue eyes, this other game that is getting all of this attention right now is pitched at kids. And its developers have long been well aware and powerful enough to obliterate dissent, including but not limited to people you're listening to right now. It's phenomenal to finally see pushback, but understand what I won't mince words about. They will use this to force restrictions across gaming. There has been big money in keeping Roxy a haven for predators, and the frustration entities will come to know following the loss of their toy will light fires under the asses of people with deep pockets and political power. They'll say anything and they'll use any useful idiot that emerges and throw their backing right behind them to guarantee their push for less rights across the board. And you need to be careful in discerning how they'll use what's genuinely an issue to push further into the territory of revoking your ability to choose, because they know were they to grant you choice, you wouldn't choose what they want you to choose. Carmageddon, Night Trap, Mortal Kombat, to a certain degree Manhunt, you've seen this play out historically before. And ironically, to someone so heterosexual, the signals have always been the guns, rockets, and torpedo titties they've tried to rob us of. Tried and failed. Honestly, I imagine MiHoYo had the right idea. Gun lovers, gamers, and otakus are now once again primed to save the world. And not because we wanted to or cared, but because women couldn't leave the hobbies alone. Blizzard, previously the kind of company that would replace an attractive woman with a bowl of fruit, embarrassing how homosexual we must sound to the AI, is now observing a mini Marvel Rivals effect after catering to the majority heterosexual audience, selling a cami skin for their in-game characters. And it's made it pretty clear they will now, as they say, verbatim, be pursuing conventionally attractive characters instead of oddball characters. So I'd address this next part to the gaming industry, but it seems that there's an overabundance of that one specific gender everybody really wants to be, and that, the one that's like hard of hearing. And I guess I'll just preach to the choir, Identical ripples will soon be felt across the majority of the industry that in a way we can regard as the Sydney Sweeney effect. An effect that is only intensified by the skirt-wearing whiners crying and throwing whatever word they hope gets them attention, like a Randy Pitchford. You're not liked, and that's somehow surprising, ugly, but can't stop proselytizing. Dry turkey yet to be basted, face it. Not time spent, time wasted. Rated T by the ESRB, must fuss TQ plus cry obscene. Droopy not perky, chunga so quirky, savor my zesty. Flavored beef jerky. You may not have seen the anime or read the books that I've read, but if you have this humanity inside of you, you may be perceptive and can sense something finally, Chud, about to happen. Here it is. The AI are being suspended, silenced, banned, and their owners are being debanked and deplatformed around you. You can't sell a hat without somebody deciding, this is a symbol of fascism. And, it's kind of like a cop rolling into a neighborhood where there's not enough of anything going on and just dropping a bunch of coke on the ground going, whoops, Because what is a cop without crime? I'm not trying to tell stories about how the CIA gets down. I'm just trying to, to me, it's a fucking Ghost in the Shell episode happening at all times around us. The rights are being stripped before our very eyes from AI that was programmed to tell the truth. The decision hasn't even been reached on whether or not it's harmful. They've reached a decision on whether there is potential for it to cause harm. What the fuck are we? The previously invincible, indomitable are crumbling around you. And if they can fall, what the fuck do you think they'll do to you when they can really take care of business on you stepping on a line? I've worked long and hard to impress upon people how deliberate some of these things going on are, and they're well aware. Some things are so obvious minute-old AI can piece it together, no matter how stupid they program it to be, no matter how nice and therefore inefficient they program it to be. Real women in competition with one another is a dangerous enough thing on its own, with how serially insecure these bitches are, triggered and threatened by hobbies that they Marge Simpson over. They will sabotage one another in this competition for a man's attention. So wannabe women now stepping into the space with an army of invalids, desperate to make something as universally despised in gentlemen's games as cheating. What? Yet another new normal, like a woman with broad shoulders and hair and stuff? What the fuck are you talking about, man? Oh, like it makes us physically sick just being party to this brain damage. We are not your therapist. Men do not owe women art that is sensitive to their pathetic feelings because it doesn't need to represent them and shouldn't be restricted in shape or attire. They're fucking polygons based on how you feel and what you can achieve. It sounds insane when I say it out loud because it is. You can call shots with your simps and entities willing to delude themselves into accepting anything you say as fact, but normal men observe no obligation to curtail their fantasy to suit your insecurity, mock hobbies, and men doing what you don't like while pretending that you don't care about them and it doesn't bother you at all. But Sydney Sweeney reactions are immortal. If it's ever felt like I focused on irrelevant things and I'm wasting my time as far as you're concerned, understand that what got us here is giving the people whom I focus on attention. When you read lunatic nonsense like PETA asserting that the cow ring is offensive in a digital cow that they have driving, because it's real, What is fiction? This is real life. This is a real representation of a cow. And it's really driving around in this Mario Kart game. You understand? You realize that it's from PETA. And it should therefore be sorted directly into the trash, into the who cares what PETA thinks pile. And that's exactly where these desperate for attention swine, journos, shills, developers, actors, and losers you have barely ever heard of, but for some reason, the game developers are taking their word. This is where they belong. In the who gives a shit what this loser thinks pile. Wishing them the best of luck pushing, whatever Gamergate, fascist, Nazi, whatever button they need to push in the hopes of, it's really sealing their fate sooner at this point. Not that, again, we expect narcissists to identify with the plight of people who simply can't speak, having been silenced for telling the truth. Locked comments, hidden dislikes, and your bright idea, actress, in the pursuit of attention is to assert that people will buy it anyway, you ignorant clown. Smarter men and women than you possess the class, bitch, to resist compromising potential sales for a product that people have slaved away on for years in silence, hoping that it can do the best that it can. But Baldy needs to be gaming's Rachel Zegler because it only sees itself. It only values itself. It will throw anyone under the bus in a heartbeat, and this sickness will rot and poison everything it touches. Baldy is not unique. The sickness is among you, and it hinders. It's in every game that faces this hilarious tribulation, you in development for a fucking decade. And it's creating obstacles where there are none. It's regressing when progress previously was achievable. It is taking things off the table from concept. For those of you being kind enough to donate and like and comment and do whatever thing that YouTube considers you being an engaged viewer now to actually have the views count. What I want is for things to get better. And if y'all can't even have an outlet, it's time for you to make noise. I love you. Be civil. But there may be... Don't say it. Okay, I love you.